Corner store philosophy, wine prophets who probably felt the greatest hide and chased that dragon into poverty. Inherited a lower self-esteem and a lack of knowledge. Got they refund checks and turn it back to college. Who needs a degree to survive in these streets? Weather 400 degrees, juveniles chasing dreams. Hustling harder for smaller returns. They call it life shit. We live and we learn. What's up, world? It's JP1, a.k.a. Jackpot the Chosen One, representing Detroit to the fullest. Right now, you politicking with Po on Po Politickin. Let's get it.
PoPolitickin.com.
Welcome back to Po Politickin. We're now politicking with the homie Phillip Buchanan, and Phillip is a 10-year NFL veteran. He played for the Raiders, the Lions, the Bucks, the Redskins. College ball, he played for the U. He has a new book called New Money Staying Rich. And he also has a board game that he's promoting through Kickstarter. That's crowdsourcing. So, welcome to the show, homie. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Paul, man. You know, it's a pleasure to be on here. You know, so I'm looking forward to this interesting question that you know we have. So, let's get this thing rolling.
Cool, man. So, speaking of interesting questions, you probably ain't never heard this question before. I was going to ask you, I don't know if you know about, like, you know, on Madden, man. Like, they actually, you know, you was always nice on Madden, man. And actually, like, on Madden, you was, like, one of the best players to get as a franchise player because, you know, franchise, we can keep you because they always had you, like, hella fast on the game. So what you thought about how they had you on Madden?
I mean, like for me, just being on a video game is definitely a blessing, and you know, and most of that stuff came from, you know, like my earlier times playing the Raiders, and you know, I was turning kicks and interceptions back for touchdowns, and I was billed as a fast player too around that time as well. So for me, it was definitely an honor. I mean, because it's a lot of high school players or Part 1 of like Little League players. They always have a vision or a dream of being on a video game, and that was definitely a blessing for me.
All right. Then I want you to talk about some of your daily habits and rituals you got.
Oh, for me, like my daily habits are pretty much for me, like what I try to do, I try to get to bed a little early, but normally I'm more of like I'm normally like a night owl. So, I mean, because that's where most of my ideas really come from, late night, in between that 1 to 3 o'clock in the morning. People always say there's nothing good going on after 12 a.m. in the morning, but for me, I kind of disagree with that. As long as you're in a solid foundation or at home and everything is cool, I think you're pretty much good. Now if you're out and about, it's a different story. But for me, I'm very creative in between that 1 to 3, and then I try to wake up in the morning. I try to read for about 30 minutes to an hour. I try to meditate a little bit, and then I start to try to figure out all the things I need to get done throughout the day. So whether that's checking emails, that's trying to get stuff done, meeting people, I'm trying to connect with people, trying to get advice, trying to find new mentors, and trying to find new partners, and throughout the day. And then I try to figure out some time, you know, like where I can actually just relax, you know, once I get done with that. And if I'm able to do something very simple as far as workout, I'll try to work in a workout regimen, like something just riding a bike or something real simple to kind of, you know, help me ease my mind and help me to kind of keep my creative flow going. But other than that, I mean, like, you know, and then from time to time I'll hang out a little bit with some of my college teammates, like Brian McKinney, or hang out with Edson James and stuff like that. Some of those guys who are very versed into their lane as far as business and just hanging out and, you know, just, you know, kind of doing their own thing.
All right. Then speaking of college, I wanted you, like you said, you played with that was like a dream team. Everybody I had on that team, I know you had Ray Lewis, you had Ed Reed, you had Ken Dorsey, you had Will Ford, Andre Johnson too, right?
Yeah. We had all those guys other than Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis was a little bit older than us.
Oh, okay.
Ray Lewis was, you know, yeah. So other than that, you Clem Portis, Jeremy Shockey, Brian McKinney, Willis McGahee, Frank Gore, Sean Taylor. I mean, the name go on. Jonathan Vilma. I can name a lot of guys. Like the team that we had a great group of guys that had the perfect personality to make things happen. And we also had good coaches too as well. So it wasn't just players. We had Curtis Johnson, we had Stoops, we had Greg Schiano, we had Butch Davis. You know, I mean, we had a lot of Chuck Pagano. So we had a lot of good coaches as well. So it just kind of the nucleus, you know, just putting all that stuff together, just kind of it worked out, and you know, we created something special as far as 17 first rounders from that 2002 national championship team, and you know, and just it was an awesome time, man. I really enjoyed it, and I would do it all over again.
Huh. And then, like, because I more want to focus on the book, but, you know, still we got to talk about the football a little bit. So I just want you to, I know it might be difficult, but if you can just kind of, like, summarize your NFL experience and give us, like, what you learned the most during your time in the NFL.
For me, like, man, my NFL career, for me, it was definitely a blessing from me trying to make it there. It didn't really turn out the way I wanted to turn out. There was some things that just didn't happen. But, you know, I got drafted in the first round. That was one of my goals. And I got drafted in the first round. And I went to Oakland. Oakland was good for the most part. It could have been better. It was just from a team standpoint, things just didn't really work out as far as working together and not having the right nucleus of coaches understanding football and not really having guys we had more players in Oakland who led by example. They weren't real leaders as far as grabbing you, like, let's go do this. So it was a little different for me, you know, opposed to college, because we did everything together, we were working, so it was different environment in Oakland. And so I thought things would be a lot better, like, by going somewhere. So I went to Houston, which I love the city of Houston. I really love the city of Houston. I hated the football stuff. They didn't know what was going on. It just in general, it was just a bad situation all around. They just overworked. They overworked us, overworked me. It just, you know, it's hard to be in a situation where people don't really understand what they're really doing, and, you know, and they're trying their best. It just wasn't working, and just for Houston, in Houston. So that kind of messed up my big deal as far as contracts. So, like, when I went there, it messed up a lot of stuff. And then from there, I got released, and then I went to Tampa. I love being back in Florida. Tampa was a good situation. I love the coaching. And when I went to Tampa, I was like, this is football. This is what coaching, this is what players do. You know, like, you had veteran players like Derek Brooks, Ronnie Barber. They were leading by example, and they were also grabbing the young players and say, look, let's go do this, let's do that. They were talking, they were teaching. The coaches were good. It was almost kind of like being back in Miami for the most part, but these guys were a little bit more advanced, at least from the defense perspective. So from Monty Kiffin to Raheem Morris, and Mike Tomlinson had just left. You know, I think he left like 2005 or something like that. So they had a very good group of coaches that worked very well together, along with a lot of good veteran players. And I felt comfortable there. And, you know, it was a mindset. It was a mindset, and the way they taught tackling, the way they went over certain stuff, tactics for the game, you know, from the way we broke stuff down at halftime. Actually, from the way we broke down stuff during the game, it was like, you know, let's change up the switch stuff. I was like, they really knew what they were doing. So I really loved playing in Tampa. I thought my career would be, I thought I would end my career in Tampa. But when Gruden got fired, everything went kind of haywire. And then I went to Detroit. And Detroit was very similar to Houston. The city was good. I met a lot of good people, other than being cold and stuff like that. But the football stuff just messed up. It was all just messed up. And then I went from Detroit to Washington. And then Washington, it was a situation where Washington was still trying to find their identity. Shanahan's a great coach. Like, I love Shanahan. I mean, he's approach to doing everything on the offense side of the ball. And, you know, things didn't work out in Washington, but, you know, we were still trying to find our way through on defense, and it was almost kind of like on defense. It was kind of like being in Houston, kind of like being in Detroit, but it wasn't as bad as Detroit. But it was, you know, still trying to find your way and figure it, not really having a real true identity. So that's kind of my career. My career has been a little bit of growing up, being in some really different situations. I won't say difficult, but just different situations. I'll probably say the worst situation I handled was probably in Houston, but I was injured and I was young, and, you know, I was just like, man, y'all don't know what y'all doing. So, like, it was just so I know how to deal with other stuff. But, you know, for the most part, like I said, I'm blessed. I played 10 years, and, you know, a lot of guys don't get a chance to play that long. So for me, it was great, and now I'm just building outside of after football. So I'm just building into all of my business stuff right now.
Yeah, I would say, so I just want to get your opinion on this. Like, you remember how Kanye had that song, New Slaves? So if you look like college players, like how they don't get paid, or even like pro players, like you get all this money, but you can't say nothing about any issues that are going on. So it's kind of like the new slaves are the entertainers and the athletes. Do you feel that way or not really?
Oh, I mean, for the most part, I mean, I don't really know a whole lot about that part as far as saying it's slaves, but I mean, it is a job, you know what I'm saying? So there's certain things you can't do and you can't say, and I really do think the idea of college players being paid, because some college players don't have a chance to play in the NFL. So for them to get something out of the pie, I mean, that makes sense. All these universities getting paid millions and millions, if not close to billions of dollars, and they're not paying the players or paying any of the athletes. You know, they say student athletes, you know what I'm saying? But they're making money off of these student athletes. But I think they should be compensated. And then if you ask me, I think if you should take it back, and if anybody else who played in college football and if they had a major impact on the bottom line of numbers, they should try to figure out a way to make sure that they pay those players. You know, particularly, you know, myself being in Miami, we won that championship, and we went to the BCS Bowl. I mean, I think we should get some compensations. I mean, I don't know how all that would work out, but I'm just saying in general, I think you should try to figure something out. But back to the whole slavery thing, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. You know, the person who is giving you the money actually has control over the rules. So there's certain things you can't do. So if there's certain things you can't do, you can't say, you can't speak out on, that's because, you know, you can't do that because you're going against what they're trying to do, and right now they're paying you.
Yeah, I would say, I think
instead you get fired.
Yeah, I think they even had a documentary about it. I think the documentary was called like $1 Million Slaves, because they were saying like basically they take your voice away. Like you can't say, like you just said, you can't say nothing about no issues. Like Jordan had all that money, but he never really said nothing about nothing, you know. So it's like they take away. You don't have like Muhammad Ali no more. You don't never have nobody like that no more. You don't have nobody to just really stand up as an athlete anymore.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing about the whole Muhammad Ali thing was, Muhammad Ali, although when he got paid and got money, he still lived in the neighborhood with them. Now it's a little different because you get paid so much more money, and you don't live in that same environment. So it's hard for you to kind of really. It's hard for certain players or certain people in general to totally sit there and relate, because they're like, well, I'm over here sitting, in this nice area and everything's good over here. I don't have to worry about it, deal with all those issues, so I'm not living there. But when you're living there, you have to deal with those issues, and then now you fight for those issues. So it's a different time frame, like this. Some things have changed, and as far as like, we did this, now we got to do things to kind of make it a little bit more better. So I don't know the reason behind it, but there's a lot of things that are not fair. I mean, most definitely not fair, but like they say, the person who has the gold or the riches or whatever it is, like they control the rules in the world. So that's kind of what's going on with the situation with that.
Okay, and then I want you to talk about your book. I want you to talk about New Money Staying Rich. So I want you to talk about what motivated you to write it first, and then talk about the book a little bit.
When I got hurt, and I was trying to figure out what my next move was, trying to get surgery, and after when I was playing with the Redskins, I had a torn labrum, and they were saying that it was fine or whatever it was, but then it was completely torn, so I had to have surgery. So during that time, I decided to go back to the University of Miami and finish my degree. And when I went back, I met with some professors, and we had a nice long talk. And as I was finishing my classes, we were talking in general. And then one of my professors, which is Dr. Duran, who passed probably about 3 or 4 years ago, and he said, somebody should write a book. Why don't you write a book about your experiences, dealing with the NFL? And so, at first I was like, man, I really don't want to write no book. I decided I really didn't want to do it because that wasn't my thought. I wasn't kind of ingrained in thinking like that. And so my aunt told me, who lives in Miami, who I lived with in college, she said, yeah, you should really write a book. And then my best friend who was with me, throughout my early days in the place, said, yeah, man, you should really write the book. So a lot of people kept telling me to write a book. And when I took my English class, my English course, Dr. Duran, he said, I want people to write about unique stories. And so I wrote about my robbery story, and then I wrote about how my uncle who had passed away and stuff like that. And those two stories are actually in my book. So that kind of got me started on really doing the New Money Staying Rich book. So about me being robbed from friends who I grew up with, which I call them historical friends, because the difference between historical friends, fun friends, and true friends. Historical friends are friends you grew up with, and it doesn't really mean that they're really a true friend. You can meet a true friend today. You can meet a true friend a month from now. You probably met him a year ago. If he's true, he brings value to you. A fun friend helps you spend money. So that's kind of what that whole kind of friends thing was. And then my uncle who was there, chose the wrong profession, but pretty much, he sold drugs and stuff like that, but he provided for the family. And so that's kind of how those were the two stories that kind of helped me to start to write the book. And really, I just thought it was a good way because my uncle always gave back and helped out with people. My mom always did that, and even though in my book I talk about a story about my mom who demanded $1 million, that's normal in the hood. So your mom, your uncle, everybody asks for money. But I guess, like the media blew it out of proportion. But, it is what it is. So I'm not mad about it. I mean, I love my mom. You only have one mom. I just was explaining the story. And the book, I was just trying to say, like, these are things that could happen to you. Not all these things will happen to you, but if they do happen to you, you'll be more prepared because I'm putting it in the book. So I'm trying to help you to kind of weave through it, so you know how to handle certain situations when it comes to money and family, money and friends, money and bad business deals, and brokers who make you broker, and financial molesters. Like all these crooks with these suits and ties on, and they're kind of funneling with your account. So that's why I call them financial molesters. And so that's really the whole idea. It probably took me about a year, and I just self-published it and kind of went from there. And I just went back and forth with different stuff, and I created the book. And really, I wasn't looking for any gain to be a millionaire or to make a lot of money. I just was sharing my story, and I'm trying to help other kids who are actually in my position to understand how to handle this money, because I didn't know how to handle the money. And so that was the reason behind it.
Yeah, and I would say I know you have the Kickstarter for the board game.
Yeah, and then the Kickstarter for the board game is really, it's derived or it comes from my book. And so I already kind of had an idea of doing a board game. And so since I was writing my book, I decided to go ahead and do the board game, almost like similar to, it's not like Monopoly, but kind of close. It's similar to Monopoly as far as like playing the game, playing like the board game, kind of like that. It's like cash flow, Monopoly, and then the Rich Dad Poor Dad kind of board game. And so really, like the whole thing with the game is, everybody starts out with 200,000, and you roll the dice, and the highest person, the person that rolls both the dice, whoever gets the highest number, they pick their character card, but the character cards are face down. And so some of the character cards are actually CEO, lucky investor, model, lottery winner, inheritance, so the person who has inherited money, pro athlete, movie star, and musician. And so there's certain things in the parts that you have to do in order to win the game. And certain people can block you. You have to pay the person next to you, like to your left or to your right. But just in general, so most of the stuff in my book is kind of like I put it into the board game, and that's kind of how I do it. So if you read my book and you play the board game, you say, "Oh yeah, I remember that from reading the book." So they're kind of tying to each other as well. I'm also working on a gaming app too as well. So I'm working on that, and that'll kind of help so people can start focusing and doing things, because everything is on your phone right now. So I'm doing that too. But I'll probably have that maybe in June or July or something like that for the iPhone, and then maybe the Android will probably be ready probably be ready in August. So but really the board game is just something I just kind of bumped into, just like the book, and I just thought it was cool for kids to kind of understand, know how to handle your money. So like I say, you start out with 200,000, and then you go through all, then you have some cards that'll say financial molester, like even, he got paid and you got paid $200K to the bank. You decided to pass on the deal, good move. So depending on the dice you roll in the game, if you roll an odd, that means that you were smart. Now, if you roll even, you got played. So that's realistically on things that will happen to you if you get a lot of money. So I just try to make that. And then the title of the card is called Financial Molester.
Yeah.
I just told so I kind of explained the whole financial molester.
I was gonna say, so you like how you have the names for everything. You created all that, because I think that's very clever. How you have like certain things, like the names you have for certain themes and stuff. That's I like that, man. That's cool.
Yeah. So like I said, man, I can't just take credit for everything, but that's why, like, when you have a good team and stuff like that, like guys like Darren Smith, who's at NYU, Wilfred Rivera, who's down here teaching right here in Miami, Jonathan Nash, and Andre Monsanto in Houston, in Texas, and Nick Monsanto in Austin right now. So those are the guys that I kind of think of stuff just from a perspective of just being a friend and stuff like that. And these are guys that just give me feedback and information on things that I'm doing. So and it's just a privilege just to kind of have those guys around and stuff like that when I need to get some feedback from them.
Hey, I was gonna say, but like how you saying in the game, 20,000. I mean, but like, what if somebody got like 500 or 1,000? What can they do with that?
Yeah, no, I mean, but pretty much in the game, you had to pay $200,000 to the bank.
No, I'm just saying in real life in general. Like, let's say somebody got like a little come up money. What would you say they should do with it?
It depends on what you see.
Like a couple G's.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like, no. See, the whole thing about that too is, in order for you to make a lot of money, or in order for you to get on track to doing good things, you gotta start hanging around. You gotta start hanging around those people. Like I said, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, you want to try to link up with people that you wouldn't mind trading places with. When I say link up with them, you got to force your way into their life by let me take you out to eat, right? Let me do something. Let me talk to you. Let me pick your brain. What are you doing? And then once you do that, you got to pick about 3 to maybe 5 guys who are in your city, and you just kind of choose that and pick their brain and get information, and then they'll kind of help you to find your lane. So the whole thing is find your niche, and then you'll get rich. And so once you find your lane, then you'll be okay.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you some tips on staying rich, but you kind of went into it, so. All right.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, what are some of your favorite books? Because I was here, you was talking about you read for 30 minutes every day, 30 minutes to an hour. So what are some of your favorite books?
Man, some of my favorite books, and let me think off the top of my head right now. One of the books is Rich as King. I like the Tipping Point. What's the other one? Sun Tzu for Success. I even like that 50 Cent book by Robert Greene, 50 Power of Law. What's the other one that I like? I mean, it's a couple books that I like. Those are just some of the names. The Millionaire Next Door. I read that one, and I actually like Setting the Table, which is like it's a way of kind of how to manage people. Setting the Table. It's about the guy that started the company. I can't think of the hamburger company right now. I can't think of the name right now. But he started the company. And just his little nuggets of education and knowledge is just so powerful, so key. So that just ran across a book too that's called The Fabulous of Fortunes. I also read a book which is called Negotiating Like a Pro, and this other book I just ran across, which is called The Road Less Traveled. That's an interesting book. It talks about love. It talks about everything and the perspective of how love was pushed on us. And man, it's crazy. Like, it's just just the way how people think about certain things. I think that's a very unique book. The Road Less Traveled. I think a lot of people should read that book.
And then, have you always been like this on this path, on the self-help path, or did you catch the bug? Because I know I caught the bug probably I would say 10 years, 11, 12 years ago. When did you say you caught the bug, or did you always have it?
I was always an interesting type of guy when I was young. I was very quiet, very, I guess you can say, kind of shy from a standpoint, not really speaking a lot. Now I speak a lot more now if people kind of be around me like, man, you speak a lot more. I don't you didn't speak a lot because I play a lot of sports. And so I just really play sports, and I just try to stay out of trouble. And I would listen to my uncles, and they would tell me to do this and do that. So they told me, don't talk about that. You got to prove yourself first. And then you can talk. So that was kind of my motto. That's why I didn't really talk a lot. But for me, I was always an interesting guy I love learning. I love reading. I used to draw a lot when I was young. I was always a guy that I was trying to figure out ways to do what other people weren't doing. And whether that was training, whether that was trying to do certain things. And when I first got my money, it was kind of hard because I was trying to find the right people, and which I thought were the right people, they were the wrong people. So I was losing money and doing different things. But then eventually I found my way by just trying to self-educate myself, and I bumped into a lot of the right people like Gary Shipman in Detroit, Jonathan who's in California, and just other different people who helped me out. And then just talking to Edwin James, who's a few years removed from me, but and stuff like this in general. Just talking to a bunch of the business people who have had and went through some of the things that I've actually went through, and just know how to deal with money in general. So.
All right. I think this, I always ask the rappers this question. I think this is an interesting question for you, though. All right, so which one is more important to you, money, fame, or love?
Money, fame, or love? Love is genuine. Love can't pay bills, just being realistic. You got to pay bills. Fame can generate some money if you need it. It can get you certain things that you want. But money also gives you freedom to do whatever you want when you want to do it, and you don't. And you can just turn down things you have to do. I like the idea of being able to do what I want to do. So it's kind of a tricky question, but I'm just going to lean and say, man, I'll probably say money because I love creating things anyway. So I'll probably say money for right now. But then if you ask me next week, I'll probably say, I'll probably say fame, and then probably the following week I'll probably say love. Who knows?
I say you're the first. You're the first person to say money. Everybody always says love. I said I guess it's perspective because all the rappers always say love, but it's perspective.
Yeah, but at the same time, you understand everybody's situation.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
But right now, some guys probably have a lot of money, so it's like, all I want is love right now. But some guys have a lot of fame, and I did with the fame. I'm just looking for love because I got fame and money, so I want love. So it depends on where you're at in your, I guess, like in your life. So for me, it's just more so like I like the idea of having money because I can help people as well. Like I said, I like the idea of doing what I want to do. So, and then, because money can help you find love. I mean, it's sad and it's crazy. I mean, crazy.
Real shit, huh?
So just depending on how you look at it, it can help with love because, some people fall in love with you because you got money. And if it's right, it's right. As long as you cross your T's and dot your I's and, protect your money, you're going to be all right.
All right, and then I got a cousin, man. My cousin pretty nice, man. He's like 6'3", 250, senior in high school. So I think he might end up going to the league one day, like you were saying. And you want people in that position to hear your advice. So what would you tell him?
Man, I would say, for one, believe in yourself. That was one of the biggest things I did. Like before, like once I walked around high school like I was a millionaire, and then once I got to the University of Miami, my whole goal was to be there for 2.5 years, and I said like I'm leaving, so like I'm going first round. So you gotta believe in yourself, but not only when you believe in yourself, you gotta put in the work. So that's the first step. I would say the next step after that is making sure that you try to, which it'll be hard for you while you're in college because you're working out and doing different things, is make sure that you have more true friends than fun friends and historical friends in your circle. People who bring and add value to you. Those are the people you need. People who are not going to be just taking, people who are going to be adding, people who are going to give great advice, stuff like that. So that's two. So make sure you have that because that's the foundation that helps you. That's the foundation that will definitely help you. The third one can really trump everything else for the most part is really mentors. If you have the right mentors on knowing how to handle football, how to handle business and handle your money, like they can help you find your lane and help you stay out of trouble, and they can give you great insight. So you need that sounding board to talk to someone. So, believing in yourself is the first one. Just making sure that you have the right true friends around you. Not the right, but just having true friends around you and mentors. I think those are just the basic kind of, the whole basis of him just, so he can be successful in general. But mentors trump all of that. Like if you got the right mentors, man, the sky's the limit. Well, actually, man, you can do so many things. It's crazy.
How, you I guess you said it, man, but it's kind of important that we kind of repeat it and rehash it. So how can they find mentors? Like, what would be one of the first steps?
One of the first steps is don't be afraid to reach out. Like one of the biggest things that a lot of athletes and football players do, well, I would say not just athletes in general, just growing up, particularly in the hood, in the city, is we get so caught up and we don't want to ask for help. Like, it's okay to ask for help. Some people are going to be too busy. Some people are going to say no. No stands for next opportunity. It might not be right now, but I'll ask you a month from now or 2 months from now or even a year from now. But at the same time, I'm going to try to ask and talk to people in my city, whether it's college city, my hometown city, or my professional city. And honestly, you want to choose all three of those cities and try to seek out and try to take people out who you wouldn't mind trading places with. Like, I want to take you out to eat. I want to sit down. I want to talk to you. Like, this is my situation, stuff like that. I just want to pick your brain. Like, I will pay for our meal for me to ask you questions. And then most of the time, most of the people like that, they'll take a liking in you, and they'll probably pay for the meal. Like, and they'll start doing things for you to help you out. So, but those are unique ways. The biggest thing that most of the guys that they grew up from the hood and in the city, is we get caught up and we think that, I can do it myself. That's dumb. No, like, there's other people that messed up. Learn from their lessons so you don't have to blow your money like that. Save your money, retain your money. So because when you get done playing, that money's going to be very valuable, because a lot of guys right now who, if they could do things a little bit differently, they would have researched and they would have reached out to certain people and they would have made sure that they could have did better by their money. But I guess if that answers your question.
But I was going to say, yeah, but how do they, like, how you saying with your game, like, how do you avoid getting played? Because some people, you be finding mentors and they be the wrong ones. So how can they find the ones with the character? You know what I'm saying? Because some people everybody ain't good mentors, I guess. So how do you find the good-hearted ones?
Okay, all right. So, like, even in my book, I break down the periodic table. This is weird. So, like I said, like, I have the platinum mentor, I have the gold, I have the silver, and the helium. A helium mentor is somebody who is maybe, it could be a family member, it could be somebody who is posing as a mentor, posing as someone who's giving you advice, but they're really trying to put some money into their pocket. And so, something like that. And so, in general, like, I even had some family members who meant well, but they really didn't know what they were doing. And so that's kind of how I blew some money in my book. I explained a story, about like dealing with somebody who I looked at as being like my father figure. And, he meant well, he just didn't know well. He just didn't know what to really do in certain situations. But for that, though, really, it just takes time. So what you got to do is you got to look at it and evaluate and say, okay, if this mentor, if he's posing as a mentor, has he have anything established? Do people like trust him? Do people, has he had any bad history as far as getting over on people? And so all that stuff comes with time. And so you kind of got to watch that, because a true mentor is someone who doesn't need your money. Like I said again, they don't need your money. They want to help you make money, and they will, they will say, you know what, I'm coming to this deal. I'm putting money into this deal. We'll sign the paperwork, and then we'll go from there. Those are true mentors. You know what I'm saying? True mentors don't need your money. They don't need anything from you. All they want to do is see you do well. Those are the right mentors that you need in your life. And, sometimes it takes time. I mean, you could possibly go out and seek out the mentor, or the mentor just may find you because of, the way you're doing things and, all the stuff they hear about you. So it works both ways. You just got to be willing to put yourself out there. That's it.
All right. What would you like to say to your fans, people that have been supporting you throughout your NFL career and what you're doing right now?
Oh, man. I mean, who's been supporting me? I just want to say thank you. And, I'm just trying to do the best I can. And if I'm not doing anything right, please let me know. Hit me on Facebook, Twitter, and say, Phil, do this or do that. Or I love constructive feedback. I'm not perfect. But like I said, I love giving back, and the part of me giving back, I got that from my mom, I got that from my uncle who died, selling drugs, stuff like that. So I got that from him and my grandmother. So I guess that's kind of where I get the whole idea of just sharing my story in the book, sharing the board game so people can learn from it. And I just like giving advice. I mean, so if people want to know something, just feel free to reach out to me. And like I said, anybody supporting me, I thank them, and please keep supporting me the best way you can, so I can keep trying to put this knowledge out there, this knowledge and wisdom.
And how can they hit you up?
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
PoPolitickin.com.
Since 2008, there has been one website, www.PoPolitickin.com. On top of the music business, behind the scenes, and on the front line. Chris Porter, a.k.a. Po Politickin. Mr. Porter has worked with everybody. Universal Motown Records, Young Money, Rockefeller Records, and more. Po Politickin is a conscious brand that aligns with artists, businesses, and brands to get more exposure. What are you waiting for? It's time to open your mind to the other side of the music business. Log on to www.PoPolitickin.com. That's www.PoPolitickin.com. Call 760-717-5803 for your interview. That number again is 760-717-5803.